For the past 10 years, you've been in Portland, Oregon. And when we come back after these messages, we're going to talk about how you got there, the new dream, and the new business of music that you are now a part of, that your family life has become a part of, how the business of music has become a part of you. Make sense?
Okay. Hmm.
All right. We'll be right back, guys. And we're back, people. And we're back. Um, Before we get into where you've been, I want to tell the people how I found you. You guys may know Shelton Bailey. Okay, he's the partner on here. You've heard his name many times. You've seen his face on the interview or two. But as usual, Shelton connects us with these amazing artists, business people, executives, music execs, and he seems to have a really be really really fond of the type of person, your sense, your decency, your loyalty. We mentioned that word before,
Hmm.
and all of that has kind of spilled over into the type of connections that you still have to this day. And I wanted to say you deserve flowers for that. You
Well,
deserve
thank you.
You deserve when people remember you fondly in a business where some are cold, in a business where you get the cold shoulder, in a business where people pit others against each other. In all of my questioning, you haven't even alluded to a bad word. You haven't decided to talk about anybody, and anything that's inferred is just happens to be fact. And I
Hmm.
wanted to say thank you for that. And I wanted you to know that it doesn't go unnoticed in case nobody told you that before.
Oh, thanks, man.
All
I
right?
really appreciate it,
Park,
Uh,
go ahead.
and I'm so glad that Shelton brought you to me. You know, saw a few of your videos, and I told Shelton, I said, man, he's like you're just sitting in a living room talking, and you've known him for years. That's the way you come across.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It is, it's, it's an honor, and I like it to be known that it is. But for the past 10 years, you've been in Portland. You
Actually,
moved
20.
from Atlanta to to Oregon. Why? Where are your dreams headed? How are they fulfilled? What brings you there, and what are you doing? Just give me that story, and we'll push on from there.
Yeah, it's actually been 20 years,
20
actually.
years.
Yeah,
Wow.
really, as a matter of fact, this is October. It's actually been 22 years because it's 20. I came here in 2002.
Mm.
That's when I came here. And I
What was
came out.
going on? What was going on at LaFace in 2002? Where was that?
LaFace was sold in 2000,
Okay.
the
Okay.
summer of 2000.
To
And
what was
so
that? To Arista or B or Sony
to Arista, yeah.
or Arista? Okay, Arista.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
And that was we probably packed up the last thing maybe July, August of 2000. Yeah. And that was it. That was it. 10-year run. This plaque here is the 10-year run plaque.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That's they decided to sell and said, okay, 10 years is long enough. And when you think about it, you go like, wow, all that stuff happened in 10 years. It's like,
I
man,
mean, it's like
you
a
know,
lifetime.
yeah.
So 2 years. You got 2000 to
Mhm.
2002. You're still in Atlanta. What's going on? How are you? How are you eating? How you living before you moved to Portland? Let's hear the story.
I had started my production company, Smooth Groove Entertainment,
Mm.
and still, in the music mindset at that time, but at the same time also uh, wanting to strive, towards film and TV. Um, when the face was sold, I think they sold it for somewhere around 100 million, something like that, I believe. and got my some severance pay, and then a bonus on top of that, and from check from Babyface and a check from LA.
That was it.
So yeah, so I'm just just plotting my direction and what I want to do. And within that plotting and everything, um, young lady from here in Portland, we were dating, and from that dating, she became pregnant. Um, and that's what brought me to Portland because she actually left Atlanta 5 months 5 months after my son was born, and they wouldn't make her move back to Atlanta, so I moved here for him and just uprooted everything that I was plotting and planning. And I said, okay, I just need to make this move and do what I got to do from Portland. And that's what it really turned into. And you kind of got in the music scene here in Portland. Um, Octavius Miller, call him Ock. He had a show called The Fat Show, played videos late at night, and little comedy stuff with a guy named Kodiak. And so they run videos at night, play videos and whatever. And at the end of the show, it's like had the email on there. And I hit him on his email, and he hit me back like I can't remember if it was 1 day later or 2 days later. And that just really start branching me into the music scene here in Portland, hip
Uh,
hop scene. Yeah. And a little R&B also. But yeah.
okay.
And yeah.
Um, Serious question. There is always more, as a father, uh, there's nothing that is as important as being with a kid. Nothing as
Hmm.
important as raising that child.
Hmm.
What also did you lose? What did you lose here? Because you were on a trajectory, you had a name, you had a severance, you had a production company.
Hmm.
And I'm going, I want to be as frank as possible. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. I'm trying to get to where's the line of what you're willing to lose, what you're uh what's necessary to lose, or what is off the table, and why, family, who you are, why that's important, as important as the music. What did you lose?
I really, I would say some closer dreams that I had, being there in Atlanta, things are right there, at your fingertips, which you can touch. When you move away, everything is a phone call or computer away,
Hmm.
uh, computer message or whatever, ideas, and, everything is just kind of distant in a sense. So I mean, I was willing to be with my son. I was willing to play with that line and let it fall where it was going to fall.
Hmm.
Because, I just always had the attitude, whereas, okay, I'll do this and do this. And if this works out, it does. If it doesn't work out, but my main drive is my son. That's my main drive. And I'll do those little things to keep on to keep on that path while still, seeing if this entertainment thing, this music thing would is going to work. Will this work? This work? But the main focus was my son.
All right, so the tidbits, the pieces. For 20 years, you've been there. Did you bring this company along with you? Educate our listeners, educate our watchers on what's been going on the past 20 years. How did you keep your fingers in there while focused on your son? How did we move?
It more or less turned into consulting than than anything else because it's like, okay, people want to learn about the music business or the connections that I had. I could call up somebody, hey, check out, I just saw this, check out this. But being honest with people, you hear something, not just gaslighting somebody about something.
Hmm.
I've just always been honest, whether I miss or whatever. if if I hear something that, nah, I'm not feeling that, whatever. As a matter of fact, when I was at LaFace, I had to go to court for a guy. He sent me a demo, and I said, okay, I'll check it out. Checked it out. Really didn't, wasn't that crazy about it. Hit him back. He came to the office and threatened me and whatever. Police asked that I wanted to press charges. I said, sure. So went had to go to court and whatever. And he I'm not sure if he did any time or anything like that, but it gets that serious sometimes. You
Wow.
know. Yeah.
So he threatened you what, with a weapon? He came up to the office with a
No, he
weapon?
didn't have a weapon with him, I don't
Okay.
think. But he just threatened me, I'm gonna
Yeah.
do this and I'm gonna this and and
Yeah, you gotta cut that at the bud. Like,
we already had, officers at the office anyway.
yeah.
There were already it's already security at the office. So, it came down to that. But I'm just honest with people because I don't want you to get out there and embarrass yourself or whatever because Aunt Sally said you sound good.
Right.
You know, a little bit of management. Didn't want to, but got into management when I was here. Managed a group called Stars of the Bazaar, rap group called Stars of the
I was
Bazaar.
about to say them next. Um, I was just listening to their song. It was I mean, they got some really eclectic music. While I'm looking for it,
Oh yeah,
tell people about Stars of the Bazaar. Uh, you're their manager. What's the label? What do they do? What's going on?
Kneecap. They were Kneecap, which is Sid's label, and so Sid and I we actually co-managed them.
Remind the people who Sid is. Now we're going all the way back, people.
Sid Johnson from Indianapolis, Manchild's manager, co-writer with Kenneth Babyface Edmonds. Um, um, that's Sid Johnson. Sid Johnson, he's a very eclectic person,
Yeah.
as far as his uh, music and everything goes. He's based out of Cincinnati, Ohio, but he's from Indianapolis.
Teach the people something. There's three modes of business that I see the tentacles going into. You're into management. It's Sid label, but you're managing. This is usually the natural progression from A&R, right? Or
Mhm.
either that or you get into owning yourself, right? Um,
Mhm.
either production company or label. Tell people how you make money from managing artists, and then we'll get to the other two.
Um, when you say how you make money, as far as it it just depends, especially in this world today.
Well, that's why we
Um,
want to know that we've got to give
yeah,
them education.
yeah, in this world today, you're gonna make your money off of their live performances, off of what they sell, as far as music goes. And like that's why I said, well, in this world today, you're not gonna sell any music. So it's gonna be live performances that you're gonna really make most of your money as far as, the artist goes. That's where we're at, and that's where everything is right now because you're not going to make any money off of streaming. It's so far off kilter where streaming's at, but that's where you're gonna make your money. Live performances, live shows.
There's a song called Therapy. Do you mind if we play it for a second?
Oh, okay, yeah, therapy.
Rambling. No fentanyl, no ketamine, no crack, no methamphetamines. My demons won't get the best of me. I think I need some therapy. I'm my own worst enemy. My thoughts in my head will trigger me. Therapy, 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 deep in my mind. Therapy.
Who's singing?
That's
That's
E
E.
Epics.
Epics.
Ethics?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Epics.
epics.
Epics. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And is that he's just a part of the group?
Yeah, he's
Yeah, it's
part of the
part of
group.
Or okay. How many
Yeah.
people are in this group? I think I saw a picture. It was like five of them.
Well,
Well,
see,
see,
that's
that's
therapy
therapy
is
is
a
a
transition
transition
of
of
the
the
group.
group.
Right
Right
now,
now,
it's
it's
four
four
members of
members
the
of the
group.
group.
Okay.
At
At
one
one
time,
time,
it
it was
was seven members in the group.
Really?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, at one time, because and
So we
that's
on we on that
that's
P-Funk.
yeah, yeah, and that's where they come from. Everybody is mainly a vocalist, but D. Arthur, who is actually the leader of the group, he did some production on a song that he did. Um, because Therapy was never a single,
Right.
actually. Yeah. I don't know if you caught any of the videos.
For you, you were witnessing something you couldn't fathom before you. The stars will outwar you, the stars will destroy you. I ain't buzz killing, music and love feeling, yeah. Here comes the stars of the
It seems to me, after listening to that, after watching the aesthetics, and it seems like you found people who are, pro-black, found people who are pro-weird, right?
Hmm.
Who aren't
Absolutely.
of the gangster zeitgeist. Were you looking for that? Were they looking for you? Did that just come about naturally? Because it seems like that's exactly where I would think you would go after India RE.
They would, they actually came to me, met them by chance.
Mm,
It was like a filter through Octavius. I was telling you about had that video show, the Fat Show.
yeah.
Octavius introduced me to Andre Paradise, a comedian. Andre Paradise introduced me to CJ Johnson,
Huh,
uh, writer,
okay.
um, you know, film, TV. And then CJ introduced me to D. Arthur.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
that's how it really came apart. And so I've known about him, for a while, and met D. Arthur. And we talked. He kept sending me some stuff, sending me some stuff, sending me some stuff. And I was like, we get together and I go like, oh, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then he had this one single called The Crawl Walk. And I said, this one, okay, it's got some legs.
crawl walk. And it go a little something like this, like this, like this. I don't want the girls to keep roll when they breaking it down, and I ain't leaving no time to them sticking around. I take a tail feather and let me see you get down. Do the crawl walk, yeah. Do the crawl walk inside.
The Crawl Walk.
The crawl
And
walk.
that's when I took on them to see it. And then that's when we put everything together. Stars of the Bazaar, The Crawl Walk, shot a video here. Sid came to town, shot a video, and that's what really started my professional relationship with Stars of the Bazaar. But great, I mean, just great guys. I mean, just bizarre, just you when you spend a shoot or whatever with them, and
Hmm.
then and it's over, you feel like came down off you go like, man, you go like, oh, that's right, I was just with the stars for the last 3 days, because you just feel that energy missing,
Yeah.
that whole thing, missing.
Wow.
But they're
Okay. I like that.
everybody here in the Portland scenes knows Stars of Desire.
So they're pretty big out there then.
Yeah, and I'll put it this way: as big as known, because you don't get that much support here, really. The support really isn't here.
Yeah.
That's the best way to just kind of like break it down and say it. Shows happening all the time, but you might get few people coming out for the shows, here and there or whatever. But uh, especially as of late, uh, the last 6 years or so, since the pandemic and everything's just kind of muddled down. It's trying to come back up because there was a lot going on here in Portland,
Yeah.
during the pandemic and George Floyd and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah, but
Ho-
but this
Um,
this is it's not a lot of support here.
so this goes back to the idea of leaving Atlanta where it's around every corner,
Hmm.
coming there. The second
Hmm.
mode is you're teaching the music business. You're showing people how it's done, maybe even introducing them to the contacts you may have. Are you charging for getting people the business? Are you charging for the education?
So sometimes I do. Sometimes I believe in somebody so much, and I know where they're at,
Hmm.
and what what they might have or whatever. Um, and I might not, I might not charge. It might be on, like I said, I kind of look at it like back end, you know.
Yeah.
And anybody that complains and says, well, I haven't made this, I haven't made that. Well, if you haven't, I haven't either. But
Right.
I've been putting in some work,
Right.
you know. You have to diversify because that's where my head is. My head is in several places other than music and entertainment.
Yeah.
When you're in a business where you depend on someone else uh to like what you it's up to their opinion on
Hmm.
if it's good or bad. When you're in that kind of business, you never know how it's going to do. That's why how you always get, sophomore flops, when
Yeah.
it comes to, albums and whatever. This album did big and here comes the second one and it does nothing because no one's feeling it.
In a world where there's no more albums, how are we judging flop or success, number one? And how are we judging? And I mean, we as in you, the professional who sees what's
Hmm.
going on, how are we judging um backing, staying behind somebody for a certain amount of time or dropping somebody because there's not enough buzz when there's no such thing as an album, no such thing as a sophomore flop. Are we going off singles? Are we going off live show? How long we can keep that going? Are we constantly changing um, for a malleable market, or are we doubling down? Can you talk about what
I,
that means in today's market?
I think going off singles because that's all you can do now. Because ever since albums are out there, but now you have the choice to pick and choose what you want off the album. You can leave everything else.
Yeah,
You know, some albums, albums back in the day, everything on there was, it was, hot,
yeah.
and you could play an album all the way through. You know, not skip by or skip over anything. Right now, if you talk to the people now and talk about, yeah, Isaac Hayes had a song that was 17 minutes long. 17 minutes long? You think I'm gonna listen to a song for 17 minutes?
It's
You
like,
know.
are you listening to it while timing it, or are you listening to it and enjoying it? What this is I'm sometimes
Right, right, right.
or are you listening to it with a stopwatch to see how long it is, or were you enjoying it?
Right.
Yeah. But you know what?
Uh-huh.
And that difference, we could talk about it here, but the truth is it's different. When people were going to watch a symphony with Mozart or Beethoven,
Hmm.
the ears were different, the zeitgeist
Hmm.
was different, the idea of what music was and what it was meant for. Was it meant for mental stimulation? Was it meant for dancing? Or was it
Hmm.
meant for dissection, artistic dissection? And so the all of these things change over time. And if you don't get with it and you want to just be the old guy talking about get off my lawn, then you go ahead and make another 17-minute song.
Right.
Right. We're moving into the after 20 years in Portland, you still have that Rolodex of people. You still have those names who still revere you and know you to be a decent, honest person, and that's why they answer the call. How's it going? Where are you emotionally with this dream that you started 40 years ago in um Indiana with Babyface?
It's altered, quite a bit of my expectations of the music part of it.
Hmm.
Like I was saying, I have working on a few other projects that aren't even music related at all, ideas I can't share, but because they are ideas that are, going to make a difference.
Okay.
Um, but I still keep my head music, but I know where to let it lay, and then if something does spring from it, okay. But I know what I shouldn't be expected
Right.
and expecting.
Are you
You got to come to reality of that. just knowing, what's out there and where the world is now and where entertainment is now, where music is now. I remember, even film, I remember when you see a movie, you're not going to see that movie come out again until, might be 10 years down the road,
Yeah,
you know, where you see some new movie come out again, on TV or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. But everything's just changed and everything's just so instant now.
Are you still
And it's
working
so
on a
so
reality
throwaway.
TV show?
Yeah. Everything's just changed. It's just changed. And you better change with it,
Yep,
you
yep.
know. And if you don't change with it, then prepare yourself to be disappointed and live with it. Live with your disappointment if you can't change.
If you can't change,
Yeah.
that's the jewel. That's the jewel. Can you say any more about your reality TV show you've been working on?
Um, there's a cooking show. Now
Oh,
that's not one of the things I can't talk about.
okay, okay.
But working on a cooking show right now. I won't really give you the details of how it's going to flow, but it's based on a restaurant out of Indianapolis, Indiana, called Taste of Nova.
Mm,
Taste of Nova Wings and Greens, and
nice.
run by mother-daughter Monique and Kara, and they're out of the AMP there in Indianapolis, and they do Colts games and also Pacer games. And this year they did the Fever games, and they always have a place there at the arenas.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. But we're working on partner of mine out of Atlanta, Bruce Brooks. We're working on putting everything together, as far as the show goes.
You've gone from music to film. You've gone
Yeah.
from road managing to A&R to live events
You got to know just how to
to
move. Because
to
if you don't, like I said, you don't whine because you didn't make the changes. That's what
right.
happened to the music business. They didn't streaming coming along. Oh, this won't happen. That won't
They
happen.
refused. They refused to change. They
Bam,
refused
it
to
happened, and
adapt.
there they were. I always tell people at one time there was this thing called typewriter. And there was a company that made these typewriters, and every little bit of the typewriter, there's other companies that made this that goes in the typewriter, and that goes in the typewriter.
Yeah.
And who didn't change, they got left behind because
Period.
typewriters are
Period.
done. You
Oh
just it
man,
affects everything down the line. Whiteout.
that was it.
No typewriters, no white, no need for whiteout.
No
Everything
ribbon,
just down the line,
carbon,
down the line.
no carbon, less metal.
Right,
Yeah, wow.
right.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's exactly it. I think this may be one of the most jewel-filled interviews I've ever had on this channel. Simply because it's dealing with someone who's actually done who because every a lot of what we do there's just specific focus on what they did or what this artist or who can you tell me about, but not everybody's like that. More people who've made it in this business, I think, are like you, where they've come up understanding the business of music and not being in the music business. They've done the business. They've done the production. They've done an
Mhm.
AR. They've done the management. They've gone to TV. They may have done licensing. Um, they may have sold how to teaching drums, teaching piano packages online. This
Mhm.
business requires the things that we spoke about. This was a blast, man.
Enjoyed it, man. Really did.
Absolute blast. Anything you'd like to say before we leave?
Um, I think I pretty much said, everything. I
You
really
said it all.
appreciate. I appreciate. I didn't say it all, but there's a lot, But
What else we got? Is there you need to do a part two? We can do a part two.
we can do a part two. Maybe I make some notes or whatever
Yep.
of where we didn't go or whatever. But yeah, part two would be cool.
Okay. Yeah, make those notes. I'd love to do it. And thank you again. Thank you again. Thank you again. We will um we'll be back, YouTube. Stay tuned. I have a Chicago episode coming out. And that was crazy. I was there during the DNC. We're going to be talking about the blues, live footage. You're going to love it. Uh, Press subscribe, press that like button. If you like what you see here, let us know. Let us know. Become a member, and we hope that you've enjoyed this as much as I have. Tommy Henderson,
I
thank
know I
you
did.
so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me, Bill.